What's up, everybody? This is Chris George with the Sleuth.com, and tonight we're going to be discussing the state of comic book movies. And we're going to start with Suicide Squad and the casting.
I don't think most people keep up with Jared Leto's films.
He's one of those actors that'll really just, do things to his own, alter his own body and his physique to really sink into the character. Almost to the point where others have worried about him. Like, I know cast members, when he did Requiem, he was just eating lettuce for days on end in order to get really emaciated.
Well, most of the people that are into the comic book movies lately, because they've grown in popularity, are your typical moviegoer. They're not really intense, like, movie buffs. I don't think they really have followed Jared Leto's career. They don't understand. Like, they really don't know that he's a top actor. Like, he's an exceptional actor. He puts everything he's got into his movies, and I have no idea why. I mean, it would make no sense that he wouldn't do the exact same thing for Joker.
I didn't even like the movie Chapter 27, but I thought his transformation in that was really amazing.
I don't think anybody liked Chapter 27.
No.
I mean, but you can't deny what he did for the film.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And Mr. Nobody, he's like amazing in that.
That's a great movie.
That's the last one I saw him in, and he was just incredible in it. And I was like, and I honestly was a little surprised too. I was like, dang, Jared Leto like upped his acting chops a lot. So I mean, he's not the guy from So-Called Life anymore. He's he's grown from that, but everybody just remembers him in that capacity.
It's like the same thing with Ben Affleck and Daredevil. Yeah. Like they forget that he made Argo and The Town.
Yeah.
Like, how do you forget that this guy's awesome? Mm-hmm. If everybody would just wants to focus on the bad.
The bad that he did before.
Right. So
he is Batman.
He looks like Batman. He looks like Bruce Wayne. The fucking chin, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's got that chin going on. He looks like the Batman on the cover of the Arkham games.
Yeah. Totally. 100%.
And he's a great actor too. I mean, again, people forget that he's a great actor.
Right. So what do we think about the rest of the casting for Suicide Squad?
I think Will Smith's like a 50-50 actor. I think it can go either way. I think he can he's either really awesome and stuff. He's like kind of like Nicolas Cage. Like Nicolas Cage is either like, oh my fucking god, Nicolas Cage is the greatest thing ever, or it's like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing about this though is who's directing this film?
Yeah.
It's David Ayer, and he's got Will Smith, Tom Hardy, and Jared Leto, just to name 3 of them.
Right.
Like some of the potentially, Jared Leto no doubt is an awesome actor, but some of the potentially most awesome actors working today under David Ayer's direction.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's pretty promising.
Yeah. I hope so.
I mean, I don't have any qualms about Tom Hardy because everybody that talks about him, I'm like, have you seen Bronson or just every other movie he's ever been in other than Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
People judge him by that movie, and I'm like, dude, like, he was phoning that in so hard. Like, every other movie he's ever been in, he's like
Warrior.
Amazing.
Dude, he was intense in Warrior.
Oh, Warrior is a great movie.
I haven't seen Locke yet. How's Locke?
Locke was awesome. That's another thing is in that article that I did for the Suicide Squad, I was talking about how he carried that whole movie by himself.
Right.
80-minute film. It's just him in a vehicle, and you're glued to the screen. Like I
haven't seen it.
Not a lot of actors can do that.
No. What about the saturation of comic book movies?
I just feel like there's so many good, iconic comic book runs that are going to get the shaft because they're trying to shit out comic book movies as fast as possible to make money.
Right.
And they're not going to give them the care and the respect that they deserve. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's comic books. Why should you care? Because if you're a comic book fan, especially if you read things as they come out, you hold things near and dear to your heart. And then you get upset when they're just going to, just crap all over it,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's a shame that it's been reduced to just another trend where every decade or so there's a particular genre that becomes really successful, like the Irwin Allen disaster movies of the 1970s. Those were really successful for a long time, and then they hit their peak and went away for a while, and they came back in the late 90s with those Roland Emmerich movies, and then they're forgotten again, and it seems like the comic book movies are headed towards that same...
I think I'm a little bit more optimistic than you guys. I mean, of course, I have my reservations about the saturation of it because there just are so many, and there just are also so many great actors and directors that you can attach to these films. But it is pretty interesting that they're having films like Inhumans and Suicide Squad that are
They're not like the mainstay.
Yeah, they're not Superman,
Yeah.
they're not
Galaxy.
Batman, they're not
Yeah.
Iron Man, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy. So they are starting to take some chances with some different stuff.
So I mean, are we getting to the point that people are going to stop caring about these movies, or are they going to continue to be as successful, or are we going to end up seeing more like Daredevil, you know, crap?
It's gonna
fest
eventually-
type
There's
stuff?
gonna be those films in
Yeah.
there. You know, that's gonna
I
happen.
think we're going to see more of them just because of the oversaturation of the
Yeah.
market. It's just easier for laziness to come in, where if there were fewer superhero movies, there'd be a lot more being put into that one film
Right.
instead of it being so easy to just crank out one after another.
I do have to say, like, since, you know, DC is only just now starting to really peak up, you know, it's been Marvel's thing. Like, it has just been Marvel hero movies for,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, the last decade or more. And DC really hasn't had those big movies except for Nolan's Dark Knight movies. And those obviously aren't tied to these new universes. But we're starting, I think, to see DC needing to, as a smart business move, set themselves apart from Marvel and really try something that's different, and hopefully, regardless of the saturation of the films, that it will be fresh enough. It'll be different enough from Marvel.
But they have so much gold they're sitting on, like their Vertigo line. They have so much stuff that they're just sitting on not making. I don't understand. Well, I guess they're focusing more on the TV aspect, which I'm not a fan of, but I don't understand. They have so much material that they could be using, and they're not. And Marvel has no such qualms about holding back. They're just like, whatever we got, we're making movies. We're just, whatever your flavor is of the shit we make,
I mean,
we're
they got
gonna make a
Ant-Man
movie.
now and Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're getting
And I'm
Guardians
sure
of
we'll
the
get a
Galaxy.
Howard the Duck remake at
Yeah,
some
dude,
point.
I would watch
Yeah.
Howard. I like the
I'm
original
sure.
Howard the Duck movie, and it's probably for nostalgia reasons.
Bestiality.
But dude,
Well, again, like
There's
DC,
duck in it.
they're not in a position to do that yet.
Yeah.
You know, they have to. They
Yeah.
have to use the Superman,
Yeah.
and, you know, Green Lanterns and Flashes. Like they
You just
haven't
had Green Lantern.
they haven't
Oh.
had those
Pain.
successful films yet
We
to
were just
where
talking about that
they
earlier.
can try different things yet. You know,
Mhm.
I mean they can, but they don't have that install base. You know,
Right,
they don't have
right.
that film fan base that Marvel has. You know, yet to where they can start experimenting more.
It just seems like there's so much reference to the comic book and graphic novel that any deviation from it just sparks a real backlash. So you have a lot of directors that aren't really taking risks and trying to do anything new with the material.
Maybe that is the future of them. Maybe they do get to a point, you know, where
They start to.
I mean, they're going to have to look for something fresh after a while,
Mhm.
and maybe, I don't know, maybe they're starting that with David Ayer and Suicide Squad.
So, we're talking about the future of comic book movies. Which comic book movies would we like to see remakes to? Do we have any? Like Batman Forever?
We got to remake Batman Forever. We got to reboot
Yeah.
Just
that.
that one.
I would like to see it's not like really a reboot, but
Spider-Man 3?
the Killing Joke. I think would make
That-
a
yeah.
great
Yeah.
movie.
But I don't doubt at all, because Zack Snyder is pretty obviously a huge Batman fan, a huge DC fan. I mean, he had always been pretty adamant about making the Dark Knight Returns movie.
Yeah.
And that's what Batman vs. Superman is heavily inspired by. I wouldn't doubt that, like, the next Batman solo film will probably have heavy influence from
I
The
hope
Killing
so.
Joke. You know?
That would be awesome.
I'd like to see the original Dark Horse comic of Alien versus Predator remade.
Yeah.
Alien vs Predator was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was
The-
painful too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
the,
and-
the
That
comic
movie was
book
like a giant
Or
hemorrhoid.
Frank Miller's RoboCop versus
God,
Terminator.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that shit's awesome. I don't usually like
What was
crossover
awesome?
stuff. RoboCop versus Terminator by
I just
Frank
remember the
Miller.
Sega
Yeah, I
game.
think I heard
The
that.
shit.
I don't think we're gonna really see too much fluctuation outside of the your common heroes until after Green Lantern comes out and we establish that like the audience can absorb all of this happening.
Well, because the Green Lantern movie we already got was.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too, is because the first one was so bad.
Yeah.
You know.
People are going to be cautious with that one again.
Remake Ghost Rider.
Yes. Yes.
Remake Ghost
Remake
Rider?
it twice because both of them suck.
Yeah. Please do a good Ghost Rider.
I put the first one in, I didn't finish it, and I never tried watching the second one.
Yeah.
I didn't even see
It's
the second
bad.
one. But
Oh
it just
man,
looked
Ghost
horrible from the
Rider.
trailer. I
Oh
was
man,
like,
it's such a. That has awesome potential.
Yeah.
Really does. And like, yeah. I'm sorry, Nick Cage. I like you and everything, but
Well,
Dude,
like I said,
seriously.
Nick Cage, sometimes he's awesome, and then sometimes he's like, bees, you know?